All right, now it's time every Sunday during the baseball season. We go on the mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene, brought to you by the John R. Elliot Hero Campaign for designated drivers, reminding you not to drink and drive and to always have a designated driver. Sign up now for the 12th annual Hero Walk and Run on the Ocean City Boardwalk Sunday, October 15th. Go to herocampaign.org to register today for the Hero Campaign's biggest fundraiser to help them prevent drunk and impaired driving. That's herocampaign.org. Coming out of the bullpen to fill in to Tommy Greene, who's got alumni obligations with the Philadelphia Phillies. Coming out of the bullpen for us today, former Phillies pitcher. He's a World Series champion in 2008 with the Phillies. Let's go to Scott Eyre. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning, fellas.
How's it going out there in Utah?
It's awesome. I was out here for my high school baseball alumni game. Now, I have to brag because my high school alumni, my head coach was here at our school my sophomore year, which I only went to 3 years of high school because ninth grade here in Utah is junior high. So my sophomore year, it's changed now. A lot of ninth graders are in high school now. But before it was just 3 years, sophomore, junior, senior. So he took over my junior year. His name's Bob Frotto, and he was there for 34 years.
Wow.
So I don't know about most alumni high school baseball games, what their turnout is, but our first alumni game was in 2018. My brother Willie and I flew out from Florida for it, and 126 other kids showed up.
Wow.
We had there was 133 kids the first year. Wow. And now that's an alumni game. We had so many kids, they made 3 games. We played like a 1, a 4, and a 7 o'clock game. They started inducting some of the players onto like the wall with their jerseys on the wall and stuff. And, my brother and I got put out there, and we all decided as ex-players, we need to put Fratto's number out there. And he's that type of coach that says, no, I'm just the right guy in the right place at the right time and had some good kids. No, he's a heck of a coach. And so we put his number out there, and then they've been doing this for this year was the 5th year. I didn't play yesterday. I had knee surgery a couple months ago, still recovering, but they did a golf tournament, which 121 or something like that players played in. Yeah, you want to talk about an alumni event. I did an alumni. I love my new high school, Billy. I've talked to you about it before in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Our Landrum Cardinals, and they had an alumni game. Like 18 kids showed up. So it just shows it's the little town. I went to high school out here in Magna, Utah. I went to Cypress High School. And
yeah, because you grew up you grew up in Inglewood, California, but then you moved to Utah, Cypress High School in Magna.
Yes, and that's what I was talking. I met so many people yesterday that I hadn't seen in a long time, or saw so many people I hadn't seen. Met a few people that one gentleman came up to me and he looked at me and he goes, "You don't know me." He goes, and he's just a lifer in Magna. He came to all the games. He said, and he goes, "I saw you throw 2 no-hitters in high school." And I looked at him and I go, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, the one against Hillcrest and I'm like, "How do you remember that?" And he's like, "The one against West Jordan." I'm like, "Okay." And it was fun to meet him and see the camaraderie that the small little town is. But yeah, I went from California in 9th grade to Utah, and the high school I was supposed to go to isn't the one I went to. I was supposed to go to Kearns High School where our boundaries lived, and everybody from my church that I moved to Utah and I met, that first year was going to Cypress. So I told my mom, I'd like to go to Cypress. I already know 6 or 7 people that go there, and out of the 2,600 students we had,
that's a big school.
Yeah, well, back then it was just a 4A school here in Utah.
So Scott,
now they have 5, 6A.
The Philadelphia Phillies are having their reunion weekend as well. And, that's what
that would be a fun one to go to with the 53 guys. Oh man,
they inducted Willie Carpenter, a former general manager. I think his last name was. If you could look that up, I forget his last name.
I'm on it.
The former Phillies general manager in the 60s and 70s, and then of course, Scott Rowland was inducted into the Phillies Wall of Fame. So
did he get a good ovation, or were they still?
Well, you know what, and I'm glad that's a perfect segue for you, because you and I spoke during the week, and you kept talking about the reaction, the ovation that Trey Turner got. Well, when Mike Schmidt said something, when Mike Schmidt said last night on the TV when he was reading his speech, he said the name Scott Rowland, and when he heard, I guess, a smattering of boos, he said, "Now, we don't do that anymore around here." Because, Scott, I know you were intrigued by what you saw and heard. Trey Turner, who's having a horrible season, one of his worst season ever in baseball.
Yeah.
Here's a career 302 hitter. He can't, he's striking out. Yeah, he comes back off a road trip, and he gets a standing ovation from the Philadelphia faithful.
I was telling you. Yeah, you said earlier in the week we were talking. I think I said to you, I don't know if anyone thought that would ever happen. And then I don't even know who started that movement or who decided that, hey, Philly, we should do this. And the fact that everybody did it, I got chills watching. I wasn't watching live, but obviously all the videos started popping up. People posting on Facebook. Leslie Goodell posted something. I think she was at the game, and I saw her Facebook feed, and I'm like, that is just incredible. And he responded. It just shows you that. All the years everybody talks about loyalty and that the player should show love to the city, and most cities show some love to the player, and Philly shows love to the players, but that was beyond love. That was like, hey, we got your back, dude.
Well,
I just thought it was
Scott,
awesome.
as a former player, what's that do for your psyche? I mean, people come to a city like Philadelphia with a reputation of, hey, man, is there an added pressure on you to perform? Like, how do you feel as a player? How did you feel as a player knowing that if you made one mistake, like you're walking on eggshells in Philadelphia, that if you didn't come in from the bullpen and get 3 outs, you were going to get booed?
Well, I'll tell you the perfect one for me then, personally. It was in 2009. I'd come in and we were playing the Nationals, and they had Adam Dunn and Brian Johnson. And I had come into a game that we were up a couple runs, and I walked the first righty, give up a homer to Dunn, walked the next righty, give up a homer to Johnson. And then before the bullpen could even get loose, I walked another righty. So I was the worst game I had as a Philly by far. I gave up 4 runs. 2 two-run homers in a matter of seconds, got booed beyond I've ever been booed before, and well-deserved. Well, the next day, Charlie being Charlie Manuel, there was no righty between Dunn and Johnson the next day for some reason. I don't remember who was playing third, whoever was in that spot was, but they were back-to-back the next day. Well, Charlie brought me into face him the next day. I still heard the boos. Don't suck like you did yesterday. Well, I got them both out. I think I struck one out and one flied out. And then he came to take me out and bring in Madsen or Durbin or somebody to finish the rest of the inning. And I got the biggest ovation right above the dugout. There was probably a row of 6 or 7 guys and a couple women, and they were standing up cheering. And I was like,
So Scott, let me ask you this then, Scott. You said the boos were well deserved. What did that do for you? Did you what was your reaction? Was it like screw the fans, or were you like,
no?
Well, tell me what you felt like in that moment.
Well, I felt like I sucked.
Accountability, that's what we're talking about.
That's awesome.
I remember walking off the field, and I don't remember who I said something to in the dugout, but it was kind of along the lines of, what the hell just happened? Like, how did that just happen so fast? What was I doing? And you sit in your locker after the game, and well, the best part of that whole story is I didn't even have to really talk to media after that game because Raul Ibanez hit a 3-run homer the next inning, and then Lidge came in and closed it out. We won by 1 or 2, so I really didn't even have to talk to him. Nobody thought about it. I was an afterthought because we came back and won. But then the next day I get nice big ovation for doing my job, right. But and I, like I said, well deserved because I felt like I should have been booed that day. There's some days where you come in, you give them a broken bat single or a little flare single, and you run scores, and the fans are upset. But there's sometimes it's out of your control,
right.
or a ball's lost in the sun or whatnot, and you're still the butt end of the booing. But in Philly, I just when I first got traded there, I was driving my RV home. I think I've told you this before, Billy.
Yeah.
I called John Lieber because he was my teammate in Chicago at the time. And I called him in the clubhouse the next morning or the next day driving home, and I'm like, what am I supposed to expect in Philly? Because you were there. And he's like, dude, just play hard.
Yeah.
Just show. He goes, you'll be fine. Just show them that you care, and that if don't be like, oh, ho hum if I give up 2 runs and we lose the game.
Right.
You need to be. He goes, you do get pissed when you do pitch bad, and I said, yeah, and I mean everybody does. He goes, no, not everybody, and I was like, well, that's true.
Yeah.
I said, you show those fans that you care and that you want to wear that red and white striped uniform, they will love you. And they did.
We're talking with former Phillies pitcher Scott Eyre. He's on the 2008 World Series championship team. He's coming in out of the bullpen to fill in for Tommy Greene. We go on the mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene every Sunday. Brought to you by the John R. Elliot Hero Campaign for designated drivers. Tommy, this Phillies team this year.
Scott, I believe.
I'm sorry. What did I say, Tommy? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm a little heavy, but not near as big as Tommy.
Oh, Tommy's cut, man. Have you seen him lately?
Oh, he's off. You said it's funny. You just said filling in for Tommy. Tommy's knowledge of pitching and his explanation of mechanics and stuff is just. I'm in awe.
Yeah, he's all baseball.
When we go to fantasy camp, he just sits and starts talking to Toasty and I'll be sitting around or something. Or J.C. Romero was there last year. We're sitting at fantasy camp down there, and Tommy's talking about pitching, and we all just shut up and listen.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Huh?
Real quick, Scott, it's Billy's producer Danny Ryan here. I want to pick your brain a little bit about the new guy on the block, Michael Lorenzen. Obviously had one heck of a week throwing a no-hitter on 124 pitches. I didn't think he was going to be able to go through that entire game to get to the no-hitter, but hey, it worked out. I want to talk about just these trade deadline acquisitions. I mean, Michael Lorenzen, this year's acquisition, this year's big ticket, but you were on teams in which you acquired Joe Blanton from the A's in 08 and then Cliff Lee from what was the Indians, now the Guardians in 09. What's it like to bring in a big-time pitcher like that and overall just try and rejuvenate that pitching rotation for some more depth?
Well, I mean, I got here just a little after Blanton. He got here a little bit before me, and he was like one of the first few people I went to talk to him about, hey, what's it like here? How's the trading? And his words were like, this place is exciting.
Yeah.
You know, this place is incredible. But how about Cliff? Cliff's first game, you know, well, I know it was Lorenzen's second start, but it wasn't a no-hitter. But Cliff's first game in San Francisco was just lights out.
Yeah, I was at Scott, I was at that game. I was at that game in San Francisco.
A complete game. We get, 2 or 3 hits is all. How about he got a double? He hit a double.
I remember it was really foggy that night, too.
It's always foggy out there.
I was in right field. I was sitting in the McCovey Cove out there.
Oh, that's so great.
Right, and we could hardly see the mound.
I just remember him coming in the clubhouse, just kind of saying hi to everybody, and you could tell he was kind of all business, but he had a smile to his face. He was kind of happy to be there. I don't know if he was nervous or more excited nervous, but when you come to a new team like that, and he was lights out that year in Cleveland anyways, but he gets to us and throws a complete game shutout or 1 run or whatever it was. I can't exactly remember. But
9 innings, 6 strikeouts.
He had a ball back to him that he fielded behind his back and
nonchalant.
Yeah, good morning, Scott.
It can spark a team. Like I got traded a few times in playoff runs. Not that I was not the big time pitcher, but I got to see what the team was like going from one to another. And if you're that Joe Blanton or the Cliff Lee or Lorenzen getting traded this year, and that clubhouse, I don't know much about those guys. And just what I see on TV, and I see the post game interviews with the fruit and the water cups, and they do it all calmly like their brother.
The daycare,
funny, I think. Yeah, like what they call it, daycare.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome that everybody just accepts it, and that's what it is, and that's how they do it, and it's their way of life. And I heard Rob Thompson a little bit. I saw a little clip video of him, talking about the no-hitter after the game, and he just seems so calm and serene, and that was just amazing. Welcome to the club.
Yeah. Good morning, Scott. This is the intern Andrew Leeds, and I was just a guy that we've been talking about a lot this season has been Aaron Nola, and he's been having a lot of ups and downs, and I was just curious what you see, what seems to be going on, and what you expect from his future. If you think the Phillies are going to bring him back, or what do you think is I
hope they bring him back. He's been a long-time staple of the team, the rotation, and like you said, this is Trey Turner's first year there, and he had some struggles. It's not Nola's first year, but pitcher. Not every pitcher in the big leagues is going to be solid, stellar every year. Sometimes they're going to have some down years and have to figure out what to do. And I hope they keep him there. I'm pretty sure that he's comfortable there, and maybe he finishes strong, or maybe he continues to struggle this year. But next year's a new year, and again, you have someone, instead of bringing someone in new that doesn't know the system, that doesn't know the fans, that doesn't know the culture. He's a leader in that culture, and I hope he stays just because. To keep that team camaraderie, and he'll bounce back. He's been pretty solid for a long time, and
and you know what else, Scott? He eats up a lot. He eats up a lot of innings. He shows up every 5th day. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can count on him. He might not be consistent this year, right, Danny? But I mean, he's eating up innings.
I think the true question is keeping the team camaraderie and team chemistry at an all-time high worth $20 million plus for Nola a year, and that's really what the Phillies have to evaluate and try and decide.
Well, that part I didn't know about the $20 million, but
he's going to command that for sure.
I didn't know the contract, but I mean, to me, I always say yes because it's easy. It's not my money, but I say yes to keep him because, like I said, you don't have to have somebody come in and learn anything new. He already knows everything, and I mean, his history says he's going to be just fine next year, or hopefully towards the end of this year again. Still, not sticking up for him or anything like that.
Right,
but I've always been a big fan of his. I met him when he first came up. We were there for an Alumni Weekend with a bunch of the 08 and 09 guys, and I met him in the video room down there, and he just seemed like a good, well-spoken, kind of quiet young man.
Hey, one last question for you, Scott. We really appreciate you coming out of the bullpen for Tommy Greene today.
Getting the call.
Waving the bullpen.
In a while, so I might be a little rusty.
But last night on the Phillies broadcast, Michael Barkan reiterated what I've said several times, that Fred Shiro, a famous coach for the Philadelphia Flyers, said, "Win tonight, walk together forever." And you won a World Series with the 2008 Phillies. Is that statement true with you and your teammates?
Win tonight, walk together forever.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Yeah. It's
like the camaraderie, the friendship and the bond that you guys have.
With something that'll never break.
It'll never break.
It's yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't even have a word to that. But I mean, I could call anyone up on that team if I had their number and say, "Hey, what's up? What you doing, man?" And we sit and chat for 10 minutes like we just finished Game 6, or Game 5 or whatever. But it's the same. I just got to experience that on a smaller, obviously, scale with my high school reunion.
Sure.
Like guys I hadn't seen. I don't live in Utah anymore. I haven't lived here since 1993 when I played went to the minor leagues one year and left and never came home. But I walk up to 4 or 5 of my best friends from high school, and it is just like you just said, walk together forever. It's like we never left each other. We played golf on Thursday together, and joking around. Same old jokes we had when we were in high school because we're delinquent kids.
Yeah.
And
well, I gotta tell you, Scott. We really appreciate you. Got to run. We really appreciate you taking time, and we'll do it again with you. But we have the memory of you and the 2008 World Series Phillies team. We'll never forget it. Thanks, Scott.
I'll never forget running in next to Clay Condrey trying to see who could get there first.
All right, Scotty, we really appreciate it, man, and safe travels, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, for sure. It'd be good, Billy.
There he is, Scott Eyre on the mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Greene. Is brought to you by the John R. Elliot Hero Campaign for designated drivers, reminding you not to drink and drive and always have a designated driver. Sign up now for the 12th Annual Hero Walk and Run on the Ocean City Boardwalk, Sunday, October 15th. Go to herocampaign.org to register today for Hero Campaign's biggest fundraiser and help them prevent drunk and impaired driving. That's herocampaign.org. Of course, filling in for Tommy Greene today, coming out of the bullpen, was Scott Eyre. We love hearing from Scott.